Here we are with the head of the Firefighters Union in the City of Canton, Rosario Carcione, and Councilwoman Mary Cirelli. They've had a little bit of difference in perspective. I understand from Councilperson Cirelli that there's a meeting of the minds, or not?
Oh, Rosario and I didn't have any problems.
Yeah, I think both Member Cirelli and I agree on the same basic principle that safety is important, and transporting a patient to the hospital is very critical. I don't think she would argue with that, and I think what happened was that there was some misunderstanding last week, and
Right.
we've cleared that up, and I think we both agree that providing safety is critical for our residents.
Unfortunately, last week Mr. Carcione was not here, and the safety director Ring was here, and Chief Rich were here, and they answered some questions, but they didn't give me complete answers. And so, God bless Mr. Carcione, he contacted me and said, there is some questions that unfortunately you didn't know, I didn't know at the time to ask to get the correct answers. So there is such a thing as called that people can lie by omission, and that happens. And so that brought to the fact of Mr. Carcione, when he stood up there and raised his hand and said he swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because I'm considering possibly an informal resolution of having anybody speak to do so.
Okay, so and it's not directed to Mr. Carcione specifically, just generally, is that correct?
Generally, right, but it made me think about the whole situation, because council is sometimes we hear two sides of a story, and whenever they're not both here together to hear the story correctly, you take a person for their word.
Well, aren't you concerned that that will cause people not to want to participate in public speaks?
Well, some of my council members have said that, and we're still sort of debating that amongst ourselves. But we can say to them, you don't have to be sworn in if you choose not to.
Because I understand, Mr. Carcione, you were here just as a citizen, not your capacity as union head.
The way I opened my presentation last week was I said I was going to try something, or 2 weeks ago, I was going to try something new, and I said I was going to speak to them as their neighbor and a resident of Canton. So, I don't know that ever I can take a public speaks without being the president of the Canton Professional Firefighters Association.
Because you happen to fill that position.
I happen to fill that position. It's public knowledge that I have that position. So anytime I take public speaks, I speak in that capacity and the capacity of a resident, because I live here in the city of Canton.
Well, if Councilwoman Cirelli follows through, and let's say council agreed with her and required public speaks presenters to do so under oath, would that deter you from participating?
Definitely wouldn't deter me. I believe everything I say is truthful, and I wouldn't present it to the public otherwise.
I respect him highly. If you notice, whenever he started and he raised his hand and said, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But to me, this is a man of his word, and I appreciate that, and that's the kind of people I'm working for the city of Canton, for our citizens.
Well, thank both.